Hi, Cody Horton here. I put together a credit repair workbook. I've had a lot of clients come to me because they're in debt and it's impacted their self-esteem, their confidence, and even though I get it, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and I've worked with people for over 40 years, I think this is very important. And a lot of people don't know the laws. And so then when I was helping some of my clients, I started to research the laws and I was appalled. A lot of companies don't adhere to the laws. And so the workbook that I have is based upon the federal law and also the state laws. And it's available on my website. But I'm going to be making videos so that you can understand more about how you can repair your own credit. It's really a simple process. It's not difficult. I get it. Some people don't have the time to do it, and you can find legitimate companies to do that for you. But I want you to be aware that there's also a lot of junk out there. There's a lot of people promoting things that, do this trick or that trick. There's no trick to this. You legitimately can use the federal law to repair any negative information on your credit report. So with that being, what you need to do is get all three of your credit reports, have them mailed to you. I get it right now because of the pandemic. They're allowing you to, I don't know, maybe order up your credit reports every 7 days, but when you challenge anything negatively, you have to send a letter. And so I've got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion up here. Those are the three major credit bureaus. And Novus is up there. So if it's on your credit report, then you want to send information to them as well, or go ahead and get it from them. But anyway, you want to check your addresses and be sure there's only one correct address on each of your credit reports, because there should only have one address. It's where they mail you the information. And you can do this part online, as well as just have one name, whatever the one name is, because you don't want all of this convoluting the credit report. And they'll say, well, this doesn't have an impact on your credit score. I'm here to tell you, I think it does. And also, I would have them delete your phone number, because of course there's so many things getting hacked all the time that you don't need your phone number floating out there. So when you receive your credit reports, carefully look over each one and dispute any negative information, inaccurate information, or outdated information, and you have to dispute it in writing. And the reason that you want to send a letter with the disputed reason is that if you dispute information online, say other than your address or your name or your job, the credit reporting agencies cannot skim over your dispute, ignore it, or bypass the federal law. Here's the thing: don't dispute any more than 5 items at a time, because otherwise CRAs will consider your disputes frivolous. Keep working on those, and once they're deleted, submit the next set of items to be disputed. Dispute everything. The debt collection industry is growing because approximately 80% of Americans are in debt, and the average debt is $38,000 and more, and this doesn't even include mortgages. And the only way to break this cycle is to get really aggressive, work on your finances, and work on your credit reports, and get familiarized with the federal law. Americans with the highest debt are Generation X and millennials. The pandemic had a huge impact, causing an unprecedented rise in debt and delinquency. So consequently, the CRA's national database is backed with errors. Get that. There's a ton of errors on everybody's report, and this is why you want to keep current on what is being reported in your file. Remember this: repairing your credit is not a sprint, it's a marathon, because the CRAs have 30 days to respond to your dispute. Creditors have 30 days to respond, and collection agencies have time to respond. So that's why the process takes so long. And there aren't any tricks to this. You can legitimately use the federal law to have things deleted from your credit report. So you definitely want to use the federal laws that are set in place to protect you, the consumer. So how you repair your credit is by challenging the verification and validation process of the CRAs and collection agencies using the federal law. And you have to know how to state the proper verbiage. You ask credit bureaus to verify, and you ask collection agencies to validate. So the workbook that I put together is basically an educational process. It's easy, but it also has sample letters in there for you. And here's the thing, you can remove bankruptcies and you can remove liens and judgments from your credit report using the federal law. Many individuals do not know what the laws are and how the information being reported is done inaccurately. It's done erroneously. So it's worth your while to learn how companies don't follow the law and how you can take back your power. A friend of mine said, "Oh, God, it sounds so complicated, and quite frankly, I'm afraid to dispute information." Well, I'm here to tell you, it isn't complicated, and there's only really about 10 major letters that challenge disputes. It just takes time, again, because the companies are allowed to take days to investigate your dispute. I received a call from a collection agency one day, and the collection agent said, "I owed an unpaid balance with Capital One." I said, "Oh, really?" I told him, I said, "Hey, send me the information you've got and send it to me in the mail," and I hung up. He had the audacity to call me back and threaten me. And again, I said, "Put it in the mail," and I hung up. You don't have to talk to these people. They have to send you information. The collection agency sent me a letter stating that I owed Capital One money, and they were authorized to collect money for Capital One. They had already reported me to all 3 credit bureaus before they first mailed me the initial validation notice. My name was mistakenly included in a batch of delinquent accounts that Capital One had sold to the collection agency. And I'm assuming a lot of these collection agencies are buying debt 10 cents on the dollar. And here's the thing, I hadn't even had a Capital One card for years, and I didn't owe them any money. I called Capital One and I asked them why my name was included in a batch of delinquent accounts, and they apologized and said they would be sure to delete my name from all the bureaus. In Colorado, a collection agency must have a license to conduct business in this state, and this particular collection agency did not have a license. They also did not mail an initial validation notice before they put information on my credit report. So I submitted a claim with the Colorado Attorney General Consumer Protection Division, and after their investigation, the collection agency was fined $17,385 for violations of Section 12-14-108 and 12-14-109 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. So if you're not in Colorado, check with your state to find out whether or not a collection agency, if you're being contacted by them, if they have a license and or if they have to be bonded in your state. If they don't, turn them over to the Attorney General. As well as they have to send you a validation notice before they do anything. So the collection agency was ordered to cease and desist from engaging in or committing or any kind of fraudulent practices described in the order. But you know what the really cool thing that happened? I received a $500 check for restitution. I didn't even know I was going to get a check. So here it is, and I've got it highlighted. This is where it was, the Colorado Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, where they charged them $17,385. They didn't follow certain protocol. They didn't follow the law. And so they were taken to task. Well, I'm going to put more videos up. So check back. Go ahead and subscribe down below. I'll put my website up if you want to check out the DIY credit repair workbook, because that can definitely help you. Plus, it's got sample letters. Now, I know you can go online, and there are some companies that are really good, and they'll write a sample letter for you for a cost, for a fee, but you can do all of this yourself. And the really great thing about it is you're getting an educational process, which, I'm all about education. And so anyway, that's the way you protect yourself, and that's the way you can take back your power. So anyway, go ahead and you can email me, or if you want to text me, just fight back and take your power back. Well, thanks for tuning in, and stop back.